Hello. This is a video that will take you through the big picture process of how all the pieces fit together to form the process of having a tutorial in the Marion University Writing Center. We'll see some from this perspective of a tutor coordinator or even a writer, and some things from the perspective of a tutor. But the big thing is that we're going to see how all those things fit together to make a unified whole. Alright, so in the interest of time, I've already logged into office.com and I have brought up Microsoft Outlook, Microsoft Bookings, and Microsoft Teams. So the first place to go is Microsoft Bookings. This is what Bookings looks like on the back end. However, how you and our writers will be almost exclusively interacting with this program is from this screen. This is the screen that when you click on the link in our website, it will take you to this place. The way it works is pretty simple. You have to answer things in the first section before you can move on to the second section. And you have to answer things in the second section before you can move on to the third section. Where it gets a little bit wrinkled is that if I select one thing, that changes this custom field down in the bottom over selecting a different thing. So as you can see in this one, there are some different questions that are asked than if I talk about myself as a staff or faculty writer. So again, you have to select all of these things and complete them unless they say optional next to them, and then go down here and click book. However, I have already taken the liberty of creating an appointment with myself as the client and the Writing Center as the tutor. And as you can see in my personal calendar right here, you can see that there is an appointment that has been made between the Marion University Writing Center and myself at the Mother Teresa Acklemayer Memorial Library. Likewise, in the Writing Center's calendar, there has been an appointment created. The cool thing about Bookings is that if you create a task in Outlook, that actually blocks you off in Bookings. So anytime that you have an appointment here, you're unable to be scheduled. Anytime you have a commitment that is not an appointment, that is within your typical scheduled hours, but you are marked as busy, you will not be able to be scheduled for an appointment during that time because Bookings and Outlook communicate so well together. The other thing that has happened is if we go over to the mail section, we can see that in the Bookings Fall 2019 section, my appointment has made it into this folder. It has never dropped in our inbox. This is so that we can keep track of all of the appointments that are created for each of our different sites. So that is the process for booking an appointment. Now for essentially the kind of back end things that tutor coordinators will be doing as soon as that appointment is created. Once an appointment is created, this sometimes takes a few minutes, but automatically this type of information will show up in the Client Report Forms component program of the Client Report Forms channel in Teams. So it will be assigned automatically to the Writing Center. So if you, as a tutor coordinator, are logging on to Teams as the Writing Center, there will be a notification letting you know that there is a task assigned to the Writing Center anytime an appointment is booked. Your job as a tutor coordinator is to take this kind of jumbled mess of information and make it a little bit more digestible. So you're going to put the client in. You're going to let the tutor know what type of writer they are, at what time the appointment will be taking place, and what location. MTHML, Mother Teresa Acklemayer Memorial Library. We're also going to take the date and set it for one day after the completion time of the appointment itself, because this is when the client report form is due. We're going to assign it to the tutor right here with Writing Center. So we're going to find Writing Center and go ahead and assign that. And then after that's all done, we can add the task. One additional wrinkle is if this is a writer that is not affiliated with Marion University, then you may have to go back to the calendar here, find that appointment, and this is how you can look for their email address, because when that appointment has completed, what a tutor is going to do is go in to their email address and create a new email. They're going to address it to the writer, and you can do that by typing the writer's name in, and typically that will populate right here. If not, you can always search names. You're going to CC Writing Center at marian.edu. And then this is very important. The CCing the Writing Center is very important, but equally important is the subject line. It needs to read client report, and make sure you spell it right. And then you can do whatever you want after that, or Aaron Wilder, or on paper subject. After you've created the address line, you can go to this client report forms section. Oh, tutor coordinators also. When you've created that subsequent task, you can mark this as completed. In this client report forms channel, under files, there's a client report form template. Creating a client report form is as simple as copying this template, pasting it into your email, and then making it your own by editing any of the things that are in brackets. You can also change things that are not in brackets to a little bit more accurately coincide with your voice. The thing that is important about this template is that in this first part, we have the collaborative section, or called in our book the pretext, where you are doing things like agenda setting and getting to know you and helping the tutor recall how they were feeling when they came into the appointment. You have the collaborative section right here, or the teaching section, or the textual section, which talks about the style of reading, the style of tutorial, goes over the assets that were found within the writing, goes over any concerns that were found in the writing, etc. And then you have down here the documentation section with a restatement of overall conclusions and subsequent resources available. So you can obviously edit which resources you want to provide based on the tutorial, and you can obviously edit these things as well. So I actually have already sent one of these emails in interest of time, and what you'll see is because I have used the word client report and CC'd the Writing Center, my client report from earlier has now moved into this folder. So you can actually see it in this folder. This is why this is so important, because this documents all of the appointments that have occurred in each of our three locations, and it allows us to easily go back in and search for appointments if for some reason we need to find them in the future. After you've done your client report form as a tutor, your job is to go back to this client report forms component program here, and all you need to do is click that check mark. Okay. Well, let's say you don't do that. Let's say you slack off and you don't complete your client report form, which of course no one would ever do, but let's just imagine in some hypothetical reality it happens. When 8/8 comes, which is the day of the due date, you will get an automatic email letting you know that you have an out, a task that has not yet been completed that needs to be completed. Tutor coordinators, during your daily checks for orphan appointments, if you see an appointment that is more than 24 hours overdue, so let's say today is 8/9, and I see this appointment right here, you need to email this person and say, hey, get on that. If you see an appointment that is 48 hours past due, so let's say it is 8/10 and I'm doing my check, and you see 8/8, then you should schedule a meeting between the assistant director and the writer who has not yet completed their task, so that we can have a little conversation. Alright, so that's 3, count them, 3 programs involved in the beginning to end process for a Writing Center tutorial. It involves booking an appointment through Microsoft Bookings. It involves ensuring in Microsoft Teams the back-end processes are completed, and it involves those appointments being automatically created in Outlook, followed through on in person, and then a client report form completed via Outlook with the subject line client report and CCing Writing Center at marian.edu. Thank you for sticking around for this little over 10-minute video. I think it's going to be valuable for you to sit through the whole thing because it allows you to see how the whole process works together in Unity rather than seeing simply your piece of the package. All right, thank you, and you have a good day.